Welcome to another episode of the Off Market Operator. I am your host, Ruud-Johnson. In today's show, we are talking about how do you make your business recession resistant, 10% interest rate environment resistant. And if I was going to title this show, which I am, you'll be reading the title, How Do You Create a Business That Can Survive with 10% Interest Rates in Real Estate? So without further ado, let's get right into the episode. People don't fail at real estate because they suck. They fail because there's too many ways to succeed. That's why I suggest you focus on the most important skill in all of real estate, which is finding deals. I'm Ruud-Johnson, and in this podcast, I share the exact steps I've used to source 400 deals by age 24. This will allow you to do three things: control your deal flow, make unlimited income, and build your empire as an off-market operator. This episode today is about surviving 10% interest rates. And I know rates aren't at 10%. As I'm making this video mid-October, they're more 8-ish percent, and they probably won't go to 10%. But I wanted to make a video because a lot of people, especially investors in our community, they freak out at the hikes of interest rates, as they should. There's a lot of stuff that gets shaky, takes longer to sell homes. They sell for less predictability and underwriting. There's a bunch of issues, right, when the rates go up. But I wanted to make a video, kind of settle people down and say, hey, even if rates go to 10%, what's a plan to sustain your real estate business? And it's always been my thesis. You want to build a business, specifically your real estate business, because you're so dependent on the market cycle, that's market cycle resistant. And I know you can't make it completely market cycle resistant, right? Properties are going to sell for less. They're going to take longer to sell. Buyers are going to be tougher to find. That's the reality of it, right? People right now, they're not too keen to trade their 2.5%, 3% mortgage for an 8% note. But with that, homes trade. People go through life situations, asset distress, death, divorce, right? We all are human, and assets are something that get traded when a life event happens. So how do we make sure we build an organization and an infrastructure that supports profitability, supports scale, supports wholesaling, flipping, developing, no matter where you are at in the market cycle? Because there's always going to be, for as long as you watching this are in real estate, whether you're buying, building a portfolio, you're an agent, you're an investor, as long as you are in real estate, you're going to have to think about the market cycle. It's the reality of it. The market cycle is always going to be something that's either you're really happy about or really upset about. So I want to start and talk about building a bulletproof, interest rate resistant business, because you can. And whether you're in commercial, industrial, single family real estate, no matter what you're doing, what your exit strategy is, if you control your own pipeline, that's kind of the name of this podcast, Off Market Operator. If you are an off market operator and you control your own pipeline, it doesn't really matter what the macroeconomic outlook is for you, because of the fact that you can always buy cheaper, and you might be buying less, but you can always buy cheaper. And real estate comes down to volume and volume of touch points, volume of deals, and then you make your money on the buy. So how do we ensure that we're always profitable, whether we're wholesaling, flipping, developing, building an Airbnb portfolio, industrial, commercial? It's on the buy. And if you have a good, consistent way to source deals off market, you always can control your buy, which means you can control what you buy at, which means you can factor into your underwriting all kinds of different market risk and rates and everything else that's happening. And that's why you see professional real estate investors are still buying as much, if not more, because their competition's sitting on the sidelines, than they ever have, right? Why do you ask that? Well, because they're professionals. They have control over their pipeline. They're not dependent on appreciation to make money, versus the amateur, the guy that does 2-3 flips a year, or a couple wholesales, or a couple development deals. He gets in the game when the market's hot, and brokers are sending him deals, and you can buy anything and make money by sitting on it for 4, 5, 6 months. You can't do that now. And so when the market changes, it brings out skill. It brings out attributes. It brings out experience. There's a lot of things that you can get away with when the market's hot that you can't when the market's softened. But the real estate professionals, the people that do this and they treat it like a business, are still around. All the amateur guys that just wanted to flip houses so they could tell their friends they flipped houses are sitting on the sidelines. So the first part is understanding marketing, right? If you're going to create a bulletproof real estate business, whether you're an agent, an investor, a developer, flipper, wholesaler, whoever you are, you have to understand first and foremost marketing, because this is a volume game and it's a touch point game. No matter what kind of marketing or farming you're doing, you need consistent touch points. Okay. So you need to have marketing going out every single day that's bringing potential customers to your door. And that's the reality of any business. And real estate entrepreneurs, we forget we're business owners, right? We get so caught up in the investment side, the flip, the the stabilizing an asset, the turning over an asset, the value add to an asset. We forget we're running a business, not just one cog in the wheel. But no business functions without lead flow, right? Because when you talk about, I talk about a lot, you have LCO, leads conversions optimization. Conversion or optimization, which is the stabilization of the deal of the asset, the investment side of this, doesn't matter if we can't get leads in the door. And a lot of you guys rely solely on brokers or on wholesalers for your deal flow and your lead flow. And so the first thing we have to maximize and really dive deep into is our lead flow. How are we getting leads in the door? Do we have control over this? Yes or no? If the answer is no to that, that's the first thing you have to attack. If you're trying to build a bulletproof, recession resistant, interest rate environment resistant business that can function and maintain and pay your staff, no matter what the macroeconomic environment and outlook is, that's the reality of the situation. Is if you cannot do that, you will always be in a spot of ups and downs because you're relying on other people to build in your deal, right? And if you can't control your marketing, you can't control your pipeline, that means a lot of times you can't control your strike price, which means you can't really be that investor that factors in the market risk into their deal. And that's not a position you want to be in. So first thing is marketing. I really like cold calling no matter what asset class. That's what we teach in most of our groups to start, whether you're commercial, industrial, single family land, whatever you do, cold call, right? It gets you reps on the phones. It gets you reps talking to sellers, doing with objections, doing sales. It gets you consistent lead flow that's controllable. Online lead flow, mailers, those all kind of wax and wane and sometimes are and sometimes aren't controllable. But being consistent in cold calling day in, day out builds a pretty consistent pipeline that you can really, really rely on long term. So highly recommend that. Second part is once you have marketing is you have to understand delegation and systems. If you do not understand delegations and systems, you will never have a bulletproof, market resistant business. And the first part of this is understanding how you can hand off tasks that are admin tasks. And the reason being, because when the market changes, interest rates go up, there's less deals to go around, which means you need to be on the ball closing deals with most of your energy and your team's energy. Your team should not be worried about admin work. And so what I recommend is really getting dialed in and honest with yourself about any work in your organization you can hand out that's admin, repeatable, low dollar per hour tasks that you think you can do better than anyone, which could be true. You need to hand that stuff off. So if we've tackled marketing, we've tackled delegation. The last thing, the third thing that you have to really hone in on when it comes to building a interest rate resistant business is understanding the fact that you can't live in a fear psychology. What I mean by that is you heard all the people online saying when the market was hot, saying next time the market crashes like 08 or next time we have that market crash like we did at the beginning of COVID, I'm buying everything up. And then the market turns, interest rates go up, asset prices come down, and they don't buy anything, right? Because they're living in two different psychologies. Either I'm on top of the world or everything's, the sky is falling. And you always want to be in the middle, right? Never too high, never too low. And as a business owner, especially because up or down, you got to spend on marketing. Up or down, you got to delegate and pay your team. Up or down, you got to be a solid, emotionally solid psychologically, so your business prevails and can stay on an upwards trajectory. And if you can't do that, you'll be prey to whatever the market's doing. And you'll stop spending on marketing because you're afraid buyers won't buy your deals, or you won't get through a flip in time and the rates will go up again. It's a risk. It's a risk game. This is a risky game. If you're doing any kind of asset stabilization, development, flipping, it is a risky game. And you have to understand the risk when you go into it. But if you guys have that fear psychology, you'll always be up and down in terms of your confidence in your business. You'll be changing stuff and you don't want that. So again, marketing, it's a volume marketing game. Delegation is a volume delegation game. Don't have that fear psychology. And the last one is, and kind of a bonus one, is understanding to solve problems. I made a few videos on this today when I was recording my shorts for the week. But understand that you are problem solvers. You can no longer just go out there when the interest rates have risen saying, hey, I got a cash offer, blah, blah, blah. Look at me. There's 400,000 people like you, right? There's a ton of people with cash offers they're handing out. What there's not a lot of is actual solution-based people. And I learned this from one of my close now business partners, friends, and mentor, James Daynard, is understanding that you are primarily there to solve an issue, right? Your offer isn't just a cash offer. You should be helping people relocate if a seller needs to relocate into another house, helping with tenant relocation, paying cash for keys, being a problem solver and solution company rather than just, hey, here's a check, I hope you take my offer. And that allows you in markets like this to get down to someone's real motivation, because most people aren't going to sell to you just because you have cash for them. They want to know you can help them with whatever their actual friction point is and help them take the next step and make that easy and fluid for them. So highly recommend you guys do those four. Again, you market consistently, you delegate consistently, you get out of the fear psychology, and then you're always solving problems, not just handing out offers. Great show. Great show. Hope you guys liked this 10-minute show today about creating that 10% interest rate resistant business. No matter what the macroeconomic outlook is or the real estate market is doing up or down, there always are going to be cycles. That's the reality of the real estate game. There's always cycles up, down, all around. And you want to build a business that's resistant to whatever cycle you are in and consistent through all cycles. And this episode was designed to help you do that. As always, a like, a share, a review means the world to me as we continue to grow this show and expand on it over the coming years. We are not going anywhere. We're only going to get more consistent. We listen to a lot of feedback on how we can improve. We're going to have better and better guests on, and I'm super excited to help you guys. And bite-sized episodes continue to improve your business and go from someone that buys real estate or trades real estate to a company that buys real estate or trades real estate. So as always, without further ado, a like, a share wherever you watch means the world, and you are only one deal away.